I am so excited because we have Indy in the studio, and the people that follow you are loyal. Mm-hmm. I mean, I went to Instagram to ask them some questions, and there's like, Michael couldn't believe it.
There's
like
some Indy fanatics out there.
It's crazy.
Oh,
I can't explain it.
Shout out to the Indy fanatics. I'm sure they're probably going to tune in.
I'm a cult leader secretly. I think that's what it is.
Kind of.
That's what I'm angling towards. I'm going to put a couple more years in, and then I'm going to move out and go into a hill somewhere and put the gospel out.
How did this cult begin? Like, what? Like, take us back to where this even started.
Guys, I don't know. It's people ask me that, and I don't know. It's like a lot of it I say is like, I always say luck, but then I'm like, no, it's not all luck. I think a lot of it's right place, right time. But I don't know, man. Utah, I think Utah has a lot to do with it. That's where I'm from.
What's going on out there?
Utah's just culty in general.
Yeah.
Like anything trendy in Utah pops off, and the masses just flock and like beat it to death. And I feel like I always say I believe that the influencer was born in Utah. Because that's where, before Instagram, before social media, it was blogging, right? I mean, you've been doing this for years, but there's so many mommy bloggers in Utah, and that kind of transferred over. So I think Utah in general just has a huge online scene, and I somehow snuck into it, and
maybe we got to move this whole operation to Utah.
You guys, it's a thing.
I got to get out there.
It seems like a thing. But you know what's so interesting to me about you is that you did the opposite of what everyone was doing to become relevant in Utah, which is interesting.
What do you mean?
Like, I feel like it seems like it's so heavily mommy blogger out there.
Yes.
And you went a totally different direction, and still, like, you've just created, like, this huge following.
Yeah.
Can you kind of speak on that?
Yeah. I mean, I think I've just always kind of marched to the beat of my own drum, naturally. And so I think, maybe that has something to do with it. Just I've always done things a little different. My following really kind of started in high school, like the end of high school. Instagram wasn't even really big yet. And actually I was big on Twitter. Like Twitter was my thing because Twitter was big when I was in high school.
How old were you at this time?
17.
When did you graduate high school? What year? I need to date myself.
2015.
Okay, cool. So I got like a full 10 years on you. All right.
So I don't know. Like I was more known for Twitter, which is so funny because you just wouldn't think that. And then no one was really doing anything on Instagram yet. And I was never down with college. I hated school. I was the worst student. I barely graduated. And so I didn't go to college. And at first I was so insecure about it. And I took a trip to Hawaii like a couple months after I graduated, just all alone, like a full-on like soul-searching trip, and ended up, and I've always made videos too. I think that's important to know. Like I have been slacking and a little bit, but that's kind of where I got my start. I'd make videos, and but I'm not a YouTuber. It's hard to explain because I kind of like have had that. I've nailed that market early on, but not YouTube. And so I would make these videos of my trips, and that's the market I kind of like.
Where do those videos live on
honed
Instagram?
In on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, like all the platforms, but it wasn't ever like, and it's not something I'm like I take pride in. I just wasn't doing it for money. I wasn't doing it for. I was doing it to put.
You're just doing it to create. Yeah.
That
makes sense.
I just needed somewhere to put them, and people like to watch it.
There's a lot of young people that get insecure about college now because I think the generations before, probably including our generation, put an emphasis on school and emphasis on college. But it's funny, sitting in the seat that I sit in, I have a great team here, and I'm sure all of them went to amazing schools, but I can't tell you one. I don't ever look at where somebody graduated from. I was a terrible student too.
Yeah.
B, C, D student.
Yeah.
Never, I studied something completely different. I think before people thought, okay, I need to go to college and I'm going to get this education so I can get this job. But I think in the landscape now, like the internet broke all of those rules and regulations. It made things possible that weren't. It's very possible for an 18-year-old kid to get out of school and start making $200,000 a year posting stuff on social. And the generations before, they don't like to hear that, but it's fully true. So why would you go? In my opinion, waste $200,000 in debt when you can get out and start making that money now. I mean, listen,
Right.
education has a solid place. Self-education, in my opinion, is more important, but it's just not, college does not exist in the same way that it used to. So you shouldn't be insecure about it.
Yeah. Oh, I agree 100%. And I think people get confused because I'm like, I'm not telling you to not go to college. Go to college, but it's you
Especially if
don't
your
have
parents
to.
will pay for it.
Exactly, and that's exactly why I didn't go. My parents weren't going to pay for it, and I was like, well, I just went to college I went to school for 15 years, and now I'm not forced to legally. I'm not going to go.
Yeah, I get it.
And yeah, I think college is great for some people, but it's not necessary.
Well, you said something key there. Like, if your parents are going to pay for it, but I think people should go to college, right? It's a great experience. You can really,
I don't necessarily agree with that.
well, listen, if your no, I think there's two distinctions. If you are an 18-year-old kid and you are thinking about going to an Ivy League or school and you have to pay it and you have to take on hundreds of thousands of dollars in student loans and debt, I don't think that's the move, especially if you want to be an entrepreneur and artist. I don't think school's built for that. But if your parents are like, hey, we're going to foot the bill and we want you to go to this great school and you're going to take 4 years to get some experience and be on your own and learn something, then yes, by all means, if you want to go.
Yeah.
You don't have the burden of debt. But student debt is a real thing, and
Yeah.
it's one of the only things outside of taxes that you can't, you get in trouble financially, you can't get out of it, right? There's
Yeah.
not like no going bankrupt and not having to pay your loans. Like, you have to pay those loans back.
Exactly, and it's like you said, it's a waste of your time.
That's exactly
You know
what
what
I
I mean?
think.
Like, the money
Yeah.
aside,
Time.
it's your time.
Yes.
I can't tell you how many of my friends, dropped out, almost all of them. And I'm just like,
You could be creating content, like you said, creating video.
creating content
There's
or
so
just,
many things
yeah.
to do.
Well, it depends what you want to do. It's a waste of time
Yeah,
if
if
you're
you want to be a doctor.
if you
no one's a
listen,
doctor in this room. Like,
Yes.
is anyone a
If
doctor?
you want to be a doctor or
Or
a lawyer, if you want to go, there's certain paths. If you want to be an entrepreneur, I agree. I think it's a waste
Yes.
of time. It's not, school is not built for entrepreneurs. School is built for people that want to go a certain path and plug into a certain
Yeah.
path that's already defined.
Well, that's the key. You got to know what you want to do.
So I think one of the things that makes you stand out too, and Erica from Fashion Lush actually
Yes.
showed me your page.
I love her.
Yeah, she's awesome. She thinks what you're doing is so cool, and what she's doing, by the way, is also awesome. If you guys don't follow her, you should. Anyways, she pointed out how authentic you are, and I hate that word, but I think what she meant is like you show all the different facets and all the different angles, and you're really upfront with your audience. Do you think that that's really worked for you?
Yeah, that's the key. People ask, and even me and my friend were talking about it last night. There's so many influencers, especially in LA, like where I used to live, and I was kind of in that scene with the younger LA girls, and you have these hot Instagram models who that's all they are, Same thing every day, like a hot picture at brunch, hot picture at friend's pool, whatever. But then the people who show their lives, show their friends, it's like you. It's why people love Lauryn. It's why people love YouTubers. It's why I think when you give people access to just that, more than just a pretty face on Instagram, people love it. And it's a double-edged sword because it brings in way more criticism. When you're just a hot face on Instagram, then it's harder to be criticized than when you're bringing people into your family's life, like your personal beliefs, all this stuff. But to me, that's what's worked.
There's a friend of mine that told me a long time ago, he said, if they're not hating on you, you're not doing it right.
Yeah, it's
Right?
true.
You got to have people talking about you.
Yeah.
The worst thing about the only thing worse than which quote is this? Only thing worse than being talked about is not being talked
What
about.
the fuck is up with you in quotes lately?
I've been
If I
really
hear
quotey
one more
lately. My
quote,
brain
I'm
is.
gonna-
I've been going down a vortex
Yeah,
of
it's
quotes,
like,
but it's
oh.
true. You don't want to just. I think that's vanilla. Everyone's like, okay, that checks the boxes. That's okay. Like, that's pretty. Like, there's
Yeah.
nothing interesting there. There's no depth.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you have been hiding something,
I have.
and your audience doesn't know, and you and I have this in common.
Yeah.
I'll let you kind of
It's
take
a
it
boob
away.
job. I'm just kidding. I am pregnant, everyone. I got pregnant as soon as I saw Lauryn was pregnant. Just kidding.
On the bandwagon.
But I did plan on hiding it before I knew you were hiding it. So we did have that. Great minds think alike.
Hiding it.
It's not easy to hide it, but congratulations, by the way.
Thank you. I'm so excited. But yeah, I decided to hide it.
How far along?
I'm 6 months.
You're 6 months, and when this comes out, you'll be 7 months.
Yeah.
And I just want to say she looks so cute. She's wearing like a black long sleeve dress. Her bump is adorable. And good luck with the next 2 months because it's been rough out here for me.
You know what you avoided?
What?
You avoided 7 months of 50 million people
The
jumping in and
pregnancy police?
yes, yes, you did. You avoided all that.
I've been avoiding them like the plague.
They'll come.
Just you wait.
Well, that's what I was thinking. I'm like, listen, I can, and I, like I said, I'm going to bring it up again. I'm from Utah where it's just everyone knows everyone. Everyone knows everyone's shit. And I knew I was going to be the talk of the town, not necessarily in a good way. And I was like, I can deal with that for 9 months, or I can deal with that for 2 months. You know
Why
what I
not
mean?
in a good way?
Just religious reasons. Not even religious reasons, just
Like, because you're not married or something?
yeah. So I'm not married,
Mm-hmm.
and
do people really care? I literally
People
don't
care.
even. You know what's so weird when you just said that? I literally didn't even think about that.
oh well, that's because you're from here, and or that
That's why we can't go to Utah, Lauryn.
it's why we can't move this operation to Utah.
Yeah, no, I was joking. I don't think this
Well,
operation
I
would last
agree. I
longer.
think the same thing, and I mean, my parents are the best people on earth, but
Do your parents know?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and they're so excited, but obviously this isn't what they would have planned for their daughter. And I told them, I was like, listen, you guys can react in any way you want. I want you guys to process this. I had to preface that, even though personally I'm just like, it's 2020. People don't have to get married to have babies. That's still how my family thinks. It's still how the majority of my friends back home think. And it's interesting. It's like a sad thing. I keep forgetting. I'm 6 months along, and I keep forgetting that, like, it's not exciting news to everyone back home. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Like, you're happy because you're having
Yeah,
a beautiful
I'm
baby
so
and it's
excited.
coming, and there's people that are going to react and not the most positive. It's not the same reaction that you would get in a traditional sense if you're
Crazy,
like a
right?
married couple. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, my dad even said, we'll have family members come up and be like, like, I heard the news. We wish Indy the best, kind of thing. Whereas,
It's like a mournful thing.
yeah, as if I was married, it'd be like, oh my gosh, congrats, you're gonna be a grandpa. Like, you know what I mean? So it's interesting. Like, I have to keep reminding myself. And obviously, my family's so excited. Everyone's had so much time to process this. But the marriage thing still gets to people.
If I were you and I were in your exact shoes, I would not give that one speck of energy.
Yeah.
I don't think if anyone's mourning it, that's on them. It's like shouldn't have anything to do with you and your baby. And if you're happy and you're excited, like, you should just unapologetically be happy and excited.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Wesley, who is another person that introduced me to you, would say the same thing.
Oh yeah, 100%.
So really quick, just like a side tangent, this is what they said. I don't know if this is like the actual story, but you showed up on their door.
This is
Pretty
Wesley
much.
and Bob. They're
Pretty
two of our
much.
favorite people.
Yeah.
They get an open invite to the show whenever they want.
Yeah, so this was, oh my gosh, like 3 years ago now. And we've all, like I said, everyone in Utah knows each other. And I was best friends with Bronson's brother throughout high school. And knew Wesley because of her blog. I love writing. She's a great writer. So I've always admired her that way. And I think one day I just DM'd her and said, listen, I'm in love with you. And this is weird, but I know we need to be friends. And like 2 weeks later, I was in California and had nowhere to stay. They were so sweet, let us stay at their house. And I'm not kidding, like, we've been best friends ever since.
Okay, so what advice has Wesley and Brano given you with pregnancy? Because they have 3 kids, and they started, I think, at 19 or 21.
They've come on here twice,
19.
and basically they've given us, like, we get the advice from them too.
best.
Like,
They're the
we need to get
best parents.
coaching.
They're the best parents. Well, I honestly, the way we always say, like, I always say Bronson, we always say we're yin and yang. We're creatively, we're the, like, perfect halves of each other.
Might become close.
And we can talk about this later, but Bronson and I started a brand together, and it's like I'm equal parts Wesley and equal parts Bronson in the sense where it's just an interesting relationship. Like, Bronson's my best friend and Wesley's my, like, soulmate. And they've always said it too, like, we don't know why you came into our life. And I've said the same thing, like, I don't know what this is. And I feel there's a lot of reasons, but for sure I feel like this is one of the reasons. I have had, like, a mentor in this pregnancy. Like, Wesley was the first person I told, aside from my boyfriend. I called her I was crying, and she just said, "Are you pregnant?" And I was like, "Yes." I didn't even have to say anything. But she went through this whole thing too. She went through this whole thing in the same hometown as I did, with the same voices talking, and it honestly, just throughout this whole process, I feel like this is definitely one of the reasons we came into each other's lives. They're great. They're the best parents ever, you guys know.
The best.
And they parent differently.
Those children hit the genetic lottery.
Yeah.
Too.
Oh, yeah.
Jesus
my
Christ.
God.
I know, right?
I mean, stunning children. Like, oh my gosh.
Do you get scared you're going to have an ugly baby?
I have so many weird anxieties. Yeah. And then I'm like looking at the ultrasound and I'm like, I hope she has my nose because, you know, babe, I love your nose, but like, you know, like.
Let's just hope she gets my jawline. Lauryn had this whack job, but she had to get it all sorted out and fixed and
I
wired.
had a misaligned jaw.
Yeah, this thing was receded.
I hope to God my baby doesn't get my nose. I had a nose job.
So, your nose looks great.
Thank you. I paid a lot for it.
Oh, looks great.
Take it in.
I'm taking it in. It looks good. It doesn't look like a nose job. It just looks like a perfect nose.
I'll show you befores.
You know what? Did you do that on social media in front of everyone?
Yeah.
And how was that? How was the judgment there?
No, zero judgment.
I love it. Oh,
but that's the thing. I mean,
cultivated that community though.
It's like it goes back to what we were talking about. I feel like when you're just open and real, yeah, it does open the door for criticism, but people respect it more.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
I'm all about it. I mean, I don't understand how you can just be so surface and think that it's a long game. Like,
yeah.
When you were talking about the brunch and the influence, like, how is that going to have any longevity?
There's no longevity.
I always find it interesting looking at traditional celebrities, and there's certain people, you know, that have had very vanilla careers, and I won't call them out, but just, you know, you can picture these type of traditional celebrities of vanilla careers, maybe you're a newscaster, and then you say a word like, I don't know, like whore or slut or something like that, and the world attacks you and says like, oh my God, you're the worst person and we're banning you. And then you think about people like Howard Stern on the other end that says like the most out there shit ever, but he's done it his whole career just as authentically as himself, and people love it. Like they embrace him for it. And I always find that interesting. Is like two people could say the exact same thing, but it depends on how, like, who says it and who's delivering it and how it's received. So it's like if you've done this curated lifestyle, and I make a point.
Yeah.
If you've built this curated brand and this curated lifestyle, and then you go outside of that curation, people are going to slap you for it. Whereas if you just start authentically as who you are, people are going to embrace it. And people should understand that, because when they go to build something, that's the only thing that's sustainable through a long period of time.
Yeah, no, exactly.
I think
agree.
it's fucking cool too how like it sounds like everyone, not everyone, but it sounds like there's a lot of people that are judgy from where you're from, and you went the complete other way. And that's worked really well.
Yeah, I think it's just my personality. I've luckily had a thick skin. I don't really care, you know.
Why do you think your engagement's so high? This is a question that a lot of people asked.
Really?
Yeah, a lot of people asked about your conversion and engagement.
Oh my gosh. I think when you're not like genetically blessed with like, you know, that perfect Instagram hot face, you have to develop a personality. I learned that early on in life. That's a life hack.
It's pretty perfect. It's looking good.
I was like in high school. My best friend, her nickname was Megan Fox. Everyone called her Megan Fox because she looked like Megan Fox, and I was known as the funny friend.
The funny friend is good. It's good. That's a good one.
Oh, the funny friend is the best.
Friend. I'm down for the funny friend.
I wasn't at first until she would get so upset because, you know, you can get a nose job. Hi, I did. You can get hair extensions. You can get hot. You can't really learn to be funny. You know what I mean?
Listen, you can't. The looks are good when you're young. A lot of people love the vanity thing, but as you get older, you need a personality.
You need substance.
You know, I don't want to be talking to a wall. You know.
Yeah.
What's your favorite Frank Sinatra quote?
No, you want to go. Now you want to get a quote. You said you like. No, you said
quote.
if you go on a date with a beautiful woman, it shouldn't just be a staring contest. Like they should have something to say. But that goes for men too, right?
That's
I think
his
men
latest.
and women, like people should. You know, you don't want to just sit there and look at each other. It gets boring after a while.
It gets boring, and I think that it just ties back into what we've been talking about. Online personalities. People like that.
I think people want more too. I think the audience expects more now.
People are so hungry for more because it's been the same. It's been the same for so many years, and I think people are at a point where they're like, what's next?
So you've been really open on your blog about your boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have anxiety now that like you guys are coming out, you're saying you're pregnant, and people like judging on the path that like they've watched your story, like they're gonna come out and like start saying stuff?
Oh, 100%. I mean, that's another reason why I've been hiding it. I made a post basically saying, like detailing this like toxic relationship I've been in. And then what? 3 months later, I'm pregnant. Like.
And do you still consider the relationship toxic, or has it gotten better?
Oh my God, this is the thing. Like, I would never be as like immature to give the advice like have a baby. It'll, I'm smart enough to know like having a baby is not gonna fix your problems. And I mean I'm fully aware of like how hard it's going to be, but this baby saved us, and we really got our shit together, and it's been bliss. We don't fight. We're so in love. Like,
he's been helpful through the process.
Oh my, he's been an angel. And the thing is when I say it was a toxic relationship, so this is my high school sweetheart. We dated since I was 16 years old, and then we broke up for a few years and have always just never been able to leave each other alone. It's been one of those. And that's why I say it's been toxic, in the sense where we were too invested in each other. When you become when your identities become each other, it's so unhealthy. And that's where we were for so many years. I was all over the world, traveling like crazy. We can't do long distance. And that's what we've figured out. And since I've gotten pregnant and we've moved in together, we realized that was the key all along. It's been perfect. And I was like, oh man, if we would have moved in 3 years ago, we could have avoided all that heartbreak.
I also think it's fine to point out, like, I don't know where people think that a relationship is always bliss. Like, there's been ups and downs in our relationship. What? No, you've been a nightmare sometimes. Like, I could write a book on that.
Well, you guys have known each other forever too.
Yeah, there are going to be toxic maybe things that are not going right in your relationship. That's just part of the game. Like, how fucking boring would it be if it was just amazing all the time?
Well, and the thing is that I've realized is that, so in Utah, the norm is, right, you go to school, you graduate, the boys will go on these missions, like 2-year missions for the church, and then you get married. Girls usually go to college until they get married. And that's what I was planning on doing. That's what I was excited about doing. And I just think now, like, if you asked, or if you told my, like, 17-year-old self, hey, listen, in 5 years, you're going to be pregnant with Jackson's baby, I'd be like, well, yeah, of course. I just didn't realize what would happen in the middle. So I'm exactly where I thought I would be 5 years ago. But all that middle, the 5 years that happened in between, I had no idea. But I'm so thankful, because if I would have married him right out of high school, like I was expected to, by, the societal pressures from my conservative hometown, I'd be so miserable right now. And I think, as messy as it was, we had to figure ourselves out on our own before we could, like, make it work together. And now that we've had 5 years to kind of, like, completely do our own thing,
you have to be selfish to be selfless in a relationship. You have to be. 100%. You have to go inward a little bit before you can be effective with other people.
Yeah. And so now, because we gave each other that space and that time, it is bliss for a little while. I know it's gonna get crazy in about 3 months, but this, like, pregnancy, and just we've 100% like fell in love. It's been great.
Space is a good thing. Lauryn and I, we've known each other, like you said, for a very long time. Yeah. We took a lot of space for a long time.
Yeah.
For a long time. Other people, other space, far distance, different states. Like, it's important.
You wouldn't leave me alone. You were like a hemorrhoid. You kept coming back.
I remembered the other way. I thought.
Interesting.
Yeah. No, you were popping up.
I'm persistent.
Yeah, persistent.
But still, it's important, because I think if we just stayed together the entire time, there's no way.
You wouldn't grow.
Right. No. Yeah. Right. I will say, though, this is interesting that you're saying this. you have been nicer to me since I got pregnant.
Well, I'll tell you why.
Yeah, explain why. Because you're like all of a sudden, you used to get mad when I called you in the mornings to come downstairs.
Well, the level, at least me personally, and maybe and a boyfriend and probably a lot of other men feel this way. Like, it's not only am I protective now of my wife, but I'm protective of the child that's in my wife's belly, right? And so I want her to be comfortable and not stressed. And there's like this primal instinct where people come close to her or look around. It's like, be careful there, buddy. I might, And today we were driving. I got on this huge road rage because this guy drove too fast by us. But it's just like you get protective. It's an instinctual thing.
Yeah.
It's like it's an evolutionary thing. So I just wanted to be comfortable and helpful. That's why I asked if the guy's being
your
helpful.
girls.
Okay, but are you going to continue this nice streak?
If I could coach your boyfriend, because I think I could do this because I'm 10 years older. And I usually don't get
Yes,
coached.
give him advice.
Usually on this
Here he
show,
goes.
I have people
Get him
coaching me
off
on
the
this show.
soapbox.
But I
Here we
could
go.
say
What's
he's
the
got to treat you extremely nice all the time. If you're ever a little bit stressed, he's got to make sure that he helps you out, doesn't let you get stressed at all, does all your chores for you, picks up all your stuff, doesn't let you lift heavy things, all those things.
There we
Gets you
go.
food.
It seems
cooks.
like he's doing that.
He is.
Yeah, gotta keep-
I could not
good
be
guy.
more.
Good.
He really stepped it up.
So, okay, what's the strategy behind this announcement? Like, when are you going to announce? Give us the behind the scenes, because at this point,
my
your
gosh.
Instagram is already up announcing it. What are you expecting?
I am expecting people to freak out.
Do you think they'll be positive, negative?
I don't know.
Mixed?
I've kind of always had the idea that it's going to be very positive, but as it's getting closer, I'm just like, oh shit! Like, I forget how mean the internet is.
Everyone will be positive.
Well, and the people are finding out. So the rumors are going around, and I will get comments every now and then on my page like, I
That
know
happened to
you're
her.
pregnant.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Did you get the DMs?
the DMs, and I think it's so rude. I'm like,
It's invasive.
it's so invasive. I'm like, talk about it with your friends, gossip all you want, send it in your group chats. But like, this is the biggest thing that's ever happened to me. Like, obviously I'm not ready to announce,
I'll give you guys the devil's advocate though. Both of you have put yourself out on a public platform, right? It's like when Kylie Jenner was hiding her pregnancy, I'm sure everybody's whispering and talking, and even probably you, Lauryn, with your friends, like, is she pregnant? So it's like it kind of comes with the territory.
It does. It does, and that's what I've been trying to remind myself. But at the end of the day,
Get busy. I call it the Drusilla and Anastasia thing. If you remember the stepsisters from Cinderella?
Yeah.
It's like they're like Drusilla and Anastasia gossiping to each other. Like, keep your Drusilla and Anastasia away from me.
yes.
Like, let me live. I just
Yeah.
want to be Cinderella.
Yeah.
I mean, people are going to talk. It's inevitable. But I just think if anyone's negative about you being pregnant, like, that's on them. That's their own thing. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
Yeah.
sucks for them.
Sucks for them.
What are some things that you're doing during pregnancy to stay healthy?
Oh, that was the wrong question. to
Why?
ask.
You look so good.
I have not worked out once.
That's okay. But like
I was-
eating, vitamins, what are you doing?
So I've actually been I've had a rough pregnancy. I've been really sick. Now I'm hitting the spot where I crave everything.
What are you craving?
You want to know what I'm craving? Rolled chicken tacos from Taco Bell.
Fuck, now you're going to make me crave
No,
that,
you
though.
guys don't
do that.
understand.
Ugh.
The other night, because they're seasonal, they sell them like once a year.
Really?
Yeah, they're so good. And I made my boyfriend, it was like midnight, I made him go get me some. And I finished it in like 5 minutes. And then I was like, babe, how mad would you be if I made you go get some more? And he went back and got me more.
This is going to be his life for a long
Yeah.
time.
All I do is make you go get me a ginger snap cookie from upstairs. I need to get more evil.
No,
You need to make him go to Taco Bell 3 times in the middle of the night.
Those actually sound good.
Wait, they don't have Postmates out there? See, listen, I got to give them some hacks.
No.
Postmates.
No, this
Make
is
him go do it.
like suburban Utah, Michael. Like,
No Postmates.
we don't have. I mean, I think Postmates, but this is like
DoorDash,
This was like
Uber Eats.
the late hours of the night. I needed him to go out.
You needed him to
I
make the
needed
run.
it then and now.
Vitamins, water, like what? Any other things you're doing to stay healthy? Or are you just like letting it like, sometimes I just let it hang out.
Well, the thing with pregnancy is there's so many rules, right? So many rules, and I'm always like, which ones are like the real I need to stick to this rule, and which one can I
I've
dance
broken
the line?
so many of the rules. I
Same.
have cheese. Like, you're not supposed to have cheese. I've had cheese.
You're
my
not
whole
supposed to have
pregnancy.
cheese.
No, you're not supposed to have like I don't even know what kind of cheese. All the like raw cheese. I have raw cheese.
See, this is news to me.
I have raw juice every day. You're not supposed to have pasteurized juice. Michael doesn't even know this. Or flash. I don't know what it's called, but you're not supposed to have some kind of juice. I have the juice I'm not supposed to have every day. I have
Guys, people
prosciutto.
used to get pregnant and then go on like the dusty trail
This
and like
is
an
what I
old covered
say.
wagon
This
and
is
like
what
get
I say.
attacked by different people and animals. Like they were okay. It's gonna be
I'm
if
like-
you have a green juice, you're gonna be fine.
People have been having babies for thousands of years. I'm gonna be fine if I have some deli meat.
Listen, I'm gonna get in trouble for this. There's a lot of fucking wacky people out there. And it's like, calm down. People, we survived attacks and blizzards and living in tents and living. It's gonna be okay.
I realized I forgot to ask you how you found out you were pregnant.
Oh, that's a good story. So it was this summer. I was in Africa. No, I was in Costa Rica. But in Africa, I had missed my period, and my periods are very like clockwork, whatever. And I'm around all these precious little African babies, and I'm starting to think, And I texted my boyfriend, and I'm the girl who, like, before.
What were you doing in Africa?
It was a humanitarian trip.
Okay.
So, but before I was even sexually active, my period would be a day late, and I would be like, I'm pregnant. Like, I'm the Virgin Mary.
That was an immaculate conception.
And that's how I've been my whole life. And so I think my boyfriend was just so sick of it. He's like, babe, you're fine. And I was like, yeah, you're right. Like, this happens every month. So then I flew straight to Costa Rica I was on another trip with a bunch of people, and it was another humanitarian trip. So we were doing a lot of service, and I swear the universe was telling me, like, every Instagram ad was a pregnancy test. Just babies everywhere. And I told my friend, I'm like, let's go get a test. But it was a joke at first. I thought there was no way in hell I could have been pregnant. And so we were in the middle of Costa Rica looking for pregnancy tests. Like, no one speaks English. We're like, it's a game. We're just having fun. She's saying, what if you were? I'm like, yeah, that'd be crazy. You know what I mean? There was no thought in my mind that I could be. It was just kind of like we were bored and needed something to do. So we go get a pregnancy test. And it was to the point where she asked me, the cashier, or I'm paying for it. And I thought, oh, I should probably get a couple. They tell you to take a couple. But I thought, that's just a waste of money because I'm not pregnant. So I just got one, and then I went and took it and forgot about it. And I love to document
You know what
everything.
I don't understand about you and Lauryn? How can you? Lauryn did the same thing. She gets
Yes,
this, and
I
she like
heard your
took one,
story.
and you got like. If I thought I was pregnant, I would be like studying this thing with a microscope.
No, I'm not anal like you. I'm just super laid back.
Well,
Well, it
I
sounds like both of
usually
you.
would be, but I didn't think I was pregnant. I thought there was no way. And that's the other thing is people are like, well, did you film your reaction? Which is such a me thing to do because I film everything. Like I'm totally like a home video hoarder. And that's totally something I'd want to have on film, like me reacting to finding out I'm pregnant. But I didn't think for a single second that it was possible. And I just looked at it and I was like, holy shit. And
And how many weeks were you at this point? 4?
Oh, literally like 4 weeks. So like I was bungee jumping in Africa. I was, blacking out in Greece. Like it was a wild time in my life, and that's all that went through my head. I was like, I hope this baby's okay.
That's
It's
what
fine.
everyone says.
Yeah.
No, everyone says that they didn't know and they were blacked out in Mexico. And so that made me feel better when I got pregnant.
Oh,
I
it
was
made
like,
me feel better too.
I'll tell you guys this: you're not the first 2 women that didn't realize you were pregnant right away. So it's gonna be okay, right?
I mean, I still wouldn't have even known I was pregnant right now. I didn't take, Michael, I like literally
Let
wouldn't
me
have
tell
known
you
I was
something.
pregnant for 6
I want to
months.
say this in a very kind way, but if you were growing like this and we didn't know you were pregnant,
No.
we would have a conversation.
I
Careful.
just took a
Careful.
pregnancy test like by fluke. I didn't think, oh, I didn't get my period. I didn't think any of that.
Yeah, that's crazy.
She took that one with the little lines. That one's fucked
Same.
up. That's what you saw.
The
it?
lines.
Fuck
no,
the lines.
Fuck the lines. Don't do the lines.
You need that digital
You
one.
need the digital one. That
I
says
was in
pregnant.
Costa Rica though, you guys. I sat with Google Translate for like an hour. I'm like, no, this is wrong. And I'm Google translating the instructions because I'm like, maybe here it's different. Like I was like, there's no way. I was in pure shock, not crying, not anything. Like I could barely get words out. And then it just like all hit me at once.
That's exactly how I thought.
Yeah.
And then I fucking waited 3 days to tell you.
I can't believe you waited. Yeah.
I had to wait. I needed to really think about it.
And we went down to Mexico, and we were at our friend's wedding, and I was down there having a good time, buying everyone drinks at the bar and having shots.
Smacking my tits around when they're
Well, I was like, what's going on here? I was like, we're down here to party. I'm like, let's get after it. And
Oh
then she was just being a downer, and then the next day she told me, and I was like, oh, shit.
Yeah, I was being a downer when you fucking take me to Mexico and I can't have tequila shots and like...
Oh, that was the hardest part. So I'm in Costa Rica, and this trip, it was a trip where I was like hosting a trip. So everyone on the trip were my followers. So it's first night, and I'm like, I gotta go home. And then I'm like, all these people came out to like hang out with me in Costa Rica. I can't wait. I think I'm most excited for them to hear this announcement so they know I'm not a bitch. It was just like the biggest shock of my life, and I'm in a foreign country. I was like hauled up in my room all night while everyone's out partying at bars, and I was just like...
We went through that same thing. We had friends that we were avoiding and like saying no to, and after that wedding, we were like super downers because she couldn't.
Yeah, I gotta defend you too to everyone that was on that trip. Like, it's a lot to take in.
Oh yeah, it's a lot, especially at the beginning.
Yeah,
dude,
it's heavy.
Yeah.
Questions from your followers. Okay.
Yeah, let's get into it.
Your favorite place to travel because you've been everywhere.
I think I would say Dubai. Have you guys been there?
Never been.
Yeah, it's sick. It's like another planet, honestly. Dubai, I love Dubai. I love Italy. Could go to Italy.
Did you like Africa?
Yeah, I went to Zambia.
I want to go to Africa.
Zambia is amazing. I've always wanted to go to South Africa, but yeah, that's probably
top place though is Dubai.
Dubai is so fun.
Okay, you need to book a trip to Dubai.
You guys would love it.
Caroline Stanberry, take me to Dubai.
Yeah. A lot of questions about your hair. Everyone wants to know about your hair extensions.
Yes, Hair by Chrissy.
Okay.
I'll plug her. She's the best. I just have a shit ton of hair. But I also have...
Looks real.
I have extensions. Yeah.
And is there anything special that you do to your hair?
There's nothing special, guys. That's what you'll learn about me.
You don't sleep on it weird. You don't... It's just... No. Is there curls in it right now? There's just old curl. Nothing. No. Just it looks
get
like
hair extensions. That's my secret.
Okay, but here's my thing with hair extensions. I do the clip-ins because I don't have hair extensions in right now. But I feel like when I have, do you have tape-ins?
No, they're sewn.
Okay, when I have sewn or tape-ins in, it gets all ratty like a rat's nest. So I guess I maybe need to brush them more.
See, I'm just a lot more low maintenance. Like I get the spray tans, eyelash extensions, hair extensions, so I don't have to spend a lot of time getting ready in the morning.
Right.
Because I'm not good at it and I'm lazy. So that's like my little life hack, but...
Maybe I need eyelash extensions.
Have you ever had them?
I had them once.
I don't even have them on right now. These are strips, but that's my go-to.
Okay. Eyelash extensions.
I couldn't give them up.
Sewn in extensions in the hair and a spray tan.
Yeah.
Okay. A lot of questions too about skin. Any skin things that you do?
Lauryn, I'm the worst person to have on your podcast because
I like that. That's okay. Be honest about that.
But you know what? I bought Elemis. Is that what it's called?
It's amazing.
Because of you.
The bomb.
Been rubbing it on my belly.
Yeah. Oh, the Japanese oil.
Yes, the Japanese oil. I don't know.
Low maintenance.
I'm very low maintenance. My friend was doing my eyebrows a couple months ago, and she was like, your face is so dry. Like, what do you wash your face with? And I was like, water. And she was like, oh my gosh, she almost died. And so she's like, you need to get a skincare routine. But
you know what though? It's good that you're young right now, and I've talked to these doctors now, Lauryn. I'm telling you, you don't want to strip your skin down too much at this age.
Are you fucking kidding
me? No,
right now?
I learned it from
Michael. I agree with you.
We had Dr. Lancer on the show yesterday, and he was listen. Less is more sometimes.
Okay, thank you, Michael. You know nothing about skin.
I know. I've had a lot of skincare conversations.
All right, he's in my. He was using La Mer. I was saying the other day, slapping it on his knees, using it as a foot cream, masturbating with it. Who the fuck knows what you were doing with my La Mer?
Don't you worry about it.
A lot of people want to do what you do, and they want you to explain what you do for work. And I know how much goes into content creation, so maybe you can explain.
Well, it's interesting because I think a lot of people are confused what I do for work. Where for a while it was, I've filmed weddings, which I need to make that clear because people still have this idea that I'm like a trust fund baby, and I'm really not. Nothing wrong with trust fund babies. They're great. Send them over to me. But I really did I filmed weddings when I was like 17 years old. That's how I afford to travel. traveled for a while. Then I started doing more like online. I did some workshops, sold presets. That's where the money is, you guys. Make some presets, sell presets. And then I earlier this year started a clothing brand, Lonely Ghost, which has been like my baby this year. And so
I heard that the sales are gnarly.
yeah,
Brano came on and told us like it's just crushing.
Going gangbusters.
it's crushing, and it's because I have the best little gang of customers and followers. I'm really lucky. I'm like my goal for this next year is to kind of like expand our audience, you know, so it's not just like my followers. But oh my gosh, it's been amazing.
I'm obsessed with Lonely Ghost. I have the oversized sweater, which is so great for pregnancy. That's where I would start, you guys. It's like this huge black, really comfortable sweater. It's very chic. You can wear it under a leather jacket. You can wear it under a trench. Or you can just wear it with an over-the-knee boot. But I've been wearing it like my whole pregnancy, so I love it.
Really?
Yeah,
Good.
I really like it. But you have like really unique sayings on it. It's not like you guys just white labeled it. You really were strategic about how you gave it to your followers. Like it's like even the mask that you have, like it seems like you listened to the consumer and then created the product.
Yeah. No, that's definitely like what we talked about before. I told him, I told Bronson, I said, I don't want to make anything that I'm not going to wear.
Yep.
You know, which I think is hard when you get into that industry that, you know, you want to make what's going to sell. But I was like, I'd rather just make shit that I'm going to wear. And then, because my followers, they like what I wear.
I'll give you 2 pieces of advice if you
Okay,
want.
let's
If you want.
Here we go.
If you want
Here
it.
we go.
I want it.
No,
If you
oh my
want it.
God.
Lay it on me.
He can't help it.
One, I know you want to expand outside of your existing following, which is great, and that'll happen organically. But I would say spend 99% of your time on the following you already have and the customers you already have, listening to them and what they want. Those are the people that are actually going to go and spread the word more than you can, right?
Yeah.
Like they're going to tell everybody because they're your diehards. Those are the people, and if you continue the relationship with them and put them first and everything, you're going to be successful.
Yeah.
And number 2 is don't listen to outside people. That's like retailers, for example. A lot of people want to get into retail stores like Nordstrom's or Bloomingdale's, all these places. And as soon as you do, what these stores want is they need multiple SKUs. And so what they're going to do is they're going to push you as hard as they can for you to just create a bunch of shit that you don't want and that people don't care about just because they need a certain amount of dollars. Don't do that. So just keep focusing on those people and focus on what you actually want to create and what they want. That's my biggest piece of advice.
He felt left out with the pregnancy advice, so he had to get his
Hey, I
2
love
cents
it. That's
in.
great advice.
He can't help it.
It's true though, because
Yeah.
a lot of young entrepreneurs, they get stuck and like, okay, now I got this, the business is doing this much, and I need to go get everybody. And so they
Yeah.
start doing this to try to get people that aren't necessarily their core, and then they start working with outside vendors and partners, and those people are like, they have their own motives of what they need to be successful, and so what they're going to do is they're just going to try to cram you in their box and fit their model. It's not good for you. It's good for them. So you have to just keep that in mind.
Where should our audience start? Which piece do you think that you would tell them to go look at?
So our best seller is our I Love You Say It Back. I mean, you might have seen it. That's us. Kylie Jenner retweeted a girl wearing it, and on all the comments were like, where's this shirt from? Where's this shirt from? And all these people are like, here, and they're making it on the spot, like a knockoff. And I'm like, no. I'm like trying to do damage control, like, no, here. But that shirt pops off. Just
Can people do that if she has a saying? That
we trademarked it.
So what happened?
We sent that smooth cease and desist, baby.
Good.
Nice.
That's
Nice.
smart
Get
that you
legal,
guys
get that
trademarked
legal
it.
team
Yeah.
involved.
Okay, where can everyone find you? Indy Blue, pimp yourself out. Tell us the Instagram handles, the website, the works.
So I'm Indy Blue _. We love the underscore. I've offered some lady in Thailand $500 to switch up the name, but she's not down. So Indy Blue _, and then YouTube it's Indy Blue. I think that's about it. Twitter's Indy7.
Indy Sub. And then you also have at Lonely Ghost.
Yes, lonelyghost.co.
.co. I am so excited that you came on to announce your pregnancy.
I'm excited for our babies to be friends.
They'll be friends.
They'll be friends.
Do you know if you're having a girl or a boy? You don't have to tell.
It's
but-
a boy.
Oh, it's a boy.
It's
we
a
didn't
boy.
even we didn't even say that.
I know.
Well, I didn't know if that was appropriate to ask because
Oh,
some
yeah,
people
no,
want to.
yeah, no, it's
boy.
fine. It's a
Okay.
boy.
So you're announcing it's a boy too?
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe there's a romance connection.
We can definitely make that happen.
Okay, maybe they're just best friends.
I'm gonna have to spend some time with this young man
Yes.
because I'm gonna be very
Oh my
protective.
God, are you? Oh my God, you're the worst.
Oh, you got a little smoothie in your teeth. We gotta get. All right. Anyways, thank you for coming on the show. It was so
Thanks for
fun.
having me.
Lauren gets mad when I do that. Right? Like she always get. Do you know why she always gets me? Because I'll get a pepper in the tooth and then she'll call me out. And so. No, because
I couldn't see it, Lauren.
I waited for the opportune moment at the end of the show to do that because she always does it to me and she puts me on blast. She even puts it on her stories.
You have a perpetual black pepper in your tooth.
You
Always.
swish that around a little bit more in your tooth before you get
Hey,
there.
Michael, thank
Indy
you.
Blue, thank you for coming on the
Thanks,
show.
guys.